Hey guys, by this point you should have heard from Emily and Lucia about our project with mental health. Um, they should have explained why it's important that we focus on this and how it's an issue in our schools today. So, to move forward, I'm just going to talk to you about the current actions by schools and organizations. I do have my laptop next to me so I can click and review notes if I need be. So currently, schools are creating awareness for students and teachers as far as mental health illness goes. Uh, it was considered a stigma to talk about these things. You did have to go home and hide behind closed doors if you had any kind of issues because people weren't supposed to talk about these things. Sometimes you had to just pretend like you didn't have these issues. But with everything that's going on today, social media, actors, actresses, it's becoming more socially acceptable to talk about. So schools have created awareness. Not all schools, however, a lot of schools have. They've increased professional literature, curriculum, and resources that address crisis intervention in the school setting, which is amazing. Now teachers are having those resources that they once never even knew existed, and they're told, hey, utilize these. You do have students that may have these mental health illnesses and you need to know how to interact with them. They're bringing support in, they're allowing students to have thoughts and feelings. All that being said, yes, we're creating awareness, but like we've heard many a time, awareness is not the end. Now it's time for action. So there needs to be more training to recognize and understand how to address. So, yeah, you can tell me, hey, there's mental illnesses. Hey, this is what we would do. But am I training you to do it? Am I following up with you and assessing that you know how to do it? That's something that is key for our classrooms right now that we're not seeing. So I think we need to have that. Not just me, there is studies, I added sources. Focus on relationships before content. This has been said numerous times. We have kids that come in, and if they don't know you're engaged enough to understand who they are as a human, they're not going to engage in the material you want to present to them. So actually get to know them. Once you get to know them, you get to know what makes them tick. You get to know their quirks here and there. You're going to actually be able to understand, hey, this is what I'm looking for. You know, these different signs. He probably has a mental illness. She probably has a mental illness. This is how I can address them in the future. This is how I can support them. So we need to focus on relationships before content. Rockhurst does a really good job of that, teaching students who are becoming teachers to focus on building those relationships. However, I've been in other programs where it's more content focused, so I believe that is something we need to focus on. Training. Crisis intervention is huge. At my current placement, we do a lot of crisis intervention training, a lot of Q&A, tabletop exercises, and actual hands-on experience. As far as school, I don't see us doing enough of that. We're too focused on the curriculum, we're too focused on the test scores, we're too focused on so many other things, sports, what have you. We're not focused on, hey, if there's a crisis, how are we going to engage the student, de-escalate them, how are we going to get the other students to feel safe. Crisis can be something as simple as somebody freaking out, their anxiety is way too high and they're just not engaged in the material and they start freaking out. Or it can be something extreme as somebody's ready to kill themselves in the middle of the class. How do we engage the students at that point? Can we de-escalate them? Do we have to have other people come in? That sort of thing needs to be trained. We're not seeing training for that as heavily as it should be. So, like I said, we need to do a better job of getting to know our students. With that, teachers need to understand how to get to know their students better. And then resources readily available. There are resources here and there that are passed out, but are these resources readily available as far as if a student needs to call somebody, if we need to have assistance for a student at any point. Also, self-care. A lot of times as teachers, we don't focus on ourselves. So are we getting those resources to understand how to promote self-care within ourselves? And the answer is no. So we need more of that in the classroom. Next, you should be seeing a short video And I'll quit talking.